What the Wrestling, the podcast where you break down the biggest moments, hottest takes, and the wildest stories from the world of pro wrestling. Whether you're a diehard fan or just stepping into the squared circle, we're here to give you the real scoop on everything happening in the ring.
I'm your host, RJD, and we're about to take a ride through the latest and greatest in pro wrestling. Get ready for all our hot takes, deep dives, and all the wrestling you never knew you needed.
Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button and join What the Wrestling family so you never miss an episode. Now let's step into the ring.
Wrestling Podcast, the show that brings you all things wrestling with your host, RJD.
Oh, you already know what time it is. AEW, WWE. We are here for all of it, everybody. And if you just saw hands on screen, my wife just made some cabbage that is smoked. Holy Jesus Christ, you're gonna make me curse on the stream. It's too soon to cuss, but god damn it, that cabbage was on point. Jesus Christ. But anyway, I know y'all didn't come to hear me talk about cabbage, so let us not waste any more time. Let's get it on. Let's get it done. Let's go. Yes. Tis I, RJD here. Welcome to What the Wrestling, the show that brings you all things wrestling. I am your host, once again, RJD. It feels so good to be back. Yeah, we got the schedule set. We got everything locked and loaded, and we are going to review all of the 3 shows this week. And moving forward, I am definitely going back to StreamYard because why is this in my face so crazy? All right, there we go. I am definitely going back to StreamYard because it is much easier to navigate, much easier to navigate clips. So I am going back to StreamYard for those of you interested in knowing if I am or not. But it seems like it's the right thing to do at the moment, and I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to rock with StreamYard. And no, I can't lie, restream has been nice to me, but we're gonna rock out with StreamYard, and we're gonna get this ish knocked off. So that is where we're at with that. So that is just a little update for you guys, so you know what's going on. I know I've been going for a minute now. I'm back with the jump off, but we got Monday Night Raw we're gonna talk about. We got Smackdown we're gonna talk about, and we got AEW Dynamite we're gonna talk about. And there will be no show tomorrow, but most likely we'll be back on Monday talking about Monday Night Raw, everybody. So, looking forward to that. But first things first, I want to talk about Smackdown. There are no other updates, so just look out for that. Shout out to everybody rocking with me on TikTok. I want to give y'all Don DeMarco. Word. Shout out to everybody rocking with me on TikTok. Everybody who's correcting me, everybody who's saying I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I love all y'all. Appreciate all y'all. I appreciate the love. We are steadily growing the channel. We are steadily growing the TikTok. And I will be putting forth a conscious effort to grow the Facebook and my X. So hit the like button. Follow me, RJD, on the Twitter, RJ699. Twitter, aka X, and follow What the Wrestling on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So I will be making a conscious effort to grow those social medias, platforms. So look out for that. I'm definitely looking to grow those. Now, what I want to talk about is SmackDown first, because SmackDown to me was a solid show. We had some solid stuff on there. I was thoroughly interested, and it looks like WWE is actually giving a crap. Don DeMarco. And we have a returning Ilya Dragunov. Don DeMarco. Hopefully Bianca Belair comes back and we get this women's division sold up. We got the MFTs and versus everybody, and we got the MFTs and the Wyatt Six. I'll talk about what I think about that. But first things first, best thing on the show, Ilya Dragunov and Sami Zayn. So Shinsuke Nakamura is still in Japan. So he's like, listen, we got a lot going on. Y'all know I'm a fighting champion. We're talking about Sami Zayn, all right? We're talking about Sami Zayn. We got a lot going on. Y'all know I'm a fighting champion, and I'm going to need you to make a match. I'm going to the ring. You know where I'll be. Whoever wants to get the smoke with this open challenge, we tell him to go to the ring. He goes to the ring. Miz comes out. Carmelo Hayes beats him up. So he's out of there. You can go. But who do we have coming out and returning Ilya Dragunov, his first match in 13 months? I don't know. I mean, he had a huge knee brace on to where he didn't have one on before. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say he hurt his knee. Or maybe he tore his ACL or something. Because normally that's, 12 months. We people are out for 12 months when they blow out their knees. So I don't know what happened. But what I do know is that in the ring, Ilya Dragunov is a mother effing beast. He is a beast in that ring. He can wrestle his ass off. If you don't believe me, go back and watch him versus Walter 1 during the pandemic, him versus Walter 2 on NXT TV, where he won the title and beat Gunther, aka Walter. Go back and watch it. Two of the best matches you will ever see, especially that first one. And if you like just pure, unadulterated, I think I'm saying that right, violence, that is what you will get. And he knows how to wrestle, he's technical, and he would just beat your ass. Now, they say that he's about 210, and he's not the tallest guy, but he doesn't have to be. He's strong, he's powerful. He's like Tyler Bate, who went Super Saiyan. Like that's kind of what Dragunov is. And Dragunov, before he was cut up, he was shredded, and he was extremely strong. Now it looks like he done put on 15 pounds of muscle, and he's still incredibly strong. So Don DeMarco. And this match was awesome.
Give me a hell yeah. I said, give me a hell yeah.
What I liked most, the crowd gave him a nice reaction. He got a welcome back chant. So that is going to show the people in control that, yes, we know who Dragunov is. And yes, we are glad that he's back. All that. So I was up on Dragunov in NXT. And I am glad to see this brother back, because I thought he was a phenomenal wrestler. And listen, at the end of the day, you have certain people who they're on the mic. People are going to pay just to hear them speak. A la CM Punk, a la MJF, right? Then you got certain people who is like, I wonder what these guys are going to do in the ring. Your a la Ricochets and, even many people are good in the ring. Seth Rollins is great in the ring. I mean, I can name a whole bunch of people. But then you have those people who is like, if we could, we don't know who he is, but when he starts wrestling, it's like, oh, this guy's amazing. So I look at it like, Io Sky. Because you listen to Io and she doesn't get the biggest reactions, but then she starts wrestling and she starts doing this and everybody goes crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Ilya Dragunov, who he is just a goddamn savage in that ring. And he's so intensity. You want to talk about all gas, no brakes. This brother is all gas, no brakes. Shout out to Jacob Fatu. So I am glad to see him back. Him and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, we don't got to talk about Sami Zayn. We know Sami Zayn is freaking amazing. But it's just like this guy came back and he is your new United States champion. Just, oh my God, absolutely fantastic match. I would love to see these guys go again. I would love to see these guys fight again. We know Sami Zayn is great. Ilya Dragunov is great. These two seem to have great chemistry. And this was a great TV. Forget TV match. This is a great match. And we did have Solo Sikoa come out with his shenanigans. But at the end of the day, Sami Zayn recovered. And he lost to Dragunov with an H-bomb. And that's okay. And I love that finishing maneuver too. Just forearm right to your chest. Boom! Love it. This was great. Dragunov is great. Sami Zayn is great. MFTs beat them up after the match. And then the Wyatt Six comes on. And you have Bo Dallas doing his Wyatt Six thing. And then the Wyatt Six comes out and the MFTs want no parts of it. Now, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make this Wyatt Six thing. And they're trying to have this roll out into... They're trying to have this mean as much as like the Shield versus the Wyatts back in the day. And people were clamoring for that match. And honestly, I'm looking forward to this. I know a lot of people aren't, but we got Tama Tonga back. But at the end of the day, I'm glad they're fighting. And MFT Solo Sikoa said, listen, y'all must have forgot. We got all the MFTs are back and we are going to get the gold back in this family. And let's see if that works out for him. But that's what they're setting up there, and I ain't mad at it. So the MFTs did attack Rey Fenix backstage, so we'll see what happens there. I'm sure something will come of it. Looking forward to that. Motor City Machine Guns beat Los Garza after hitting Skull and Bone. So that was a nice little TV match they had. So we had DIY talking junk to Fraxium backstage. Fraxium is really, really good. I mean, they're so quick. They're so fast in the ring. They will be tag team champions eventually. And it's good to see DIY and Fraxium. They're setting something up. The tag team division on Smackdown is really good. And all of these teams can work their asses off. So looking forward to that. So then we had Drew McIntyre, who was supposed to fight Jacob Fatu, but he got beat up backstage. Drew McIntyre comes out and he's like, I need you to crown your new number one contender. That's me, Drew McIntyre. Cody comes out and says, enough of this, Mielda. He's like, I'm tired of this. These people paid to see a number one contenders match. You messed it up. You want to fight? Let's fight right now. Ring the goddamn bell. And then they had a nice little 10-minute scuffle. Drew McIntyre wins because Cody whacked him over the damn head. So maybe we'll have a triple threat match. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that's how Drew gets the title. Maybe they'll keep it on Cody. I don't think Jacob Fatu is going to get it just yet. He will get it. I just don't think he's going to get that top title just yet. I could see it going to Drew. But maybe they do a triple threat match. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But that was basically what happened on SmackDown. On top of the fact that Zelina Vega is now paired with her husband, Aleister Black, after the big win over Damian Priest with the fireball. So looking forward to that too. You got to throw him in the mix. And now SmackDown is starting to look and feel like something's, we got moving parts. So SmackDown is looking good. And now it seems like they are actually giving a shit about what we see on TV. And I hope they keep up the good work because I thoroughly enjoyed SmackDown. I did. Oh, before I forget, we did have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte beat Sol Ruka and Zarya via submission with the figure 8. Blake Monroe did play a part in this match in the finish. I did get to see the Soul Snatcher, which is my favorite finishing maneuver in all of wrestling because it is so complex with the timing, with the flip, and it's just a cool ass move from a very, very highly athletic woman. So, just cool. It's just a cool ass move. So, I love it. It's awesome. Good stuff. So that was your SmackDown. SmackDown to me, A1. SmackDown was A1. Monday Night Raw, everybody. So, Monday Night Raw, what did we have? We have Asuka misted Io Sky after she attempted to stop Asuka and Kairi Sane from attacking Rhea Ripley. So, this came after Sky told Ripley she was unsure if she could turn her back on her family, quote unquote, or not. Later, Sky told Ripley that she had talked to Adam Pearce and they would face Asuka and wait, what? No. This is not the right freaking. That's crazy. Nope. This is not the damn recap. This is the old recap. What the hell happened here? Monday Night Raw results from 10-12, 10-13. What the hell? I'm reading off the wrong results and shit. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, let's try this again. So, what do we have? We have, let's see, is this it? No, that's not it either. Hold on, y'all. I done messed up the damn, yeah, there we go. Finally, I found it. God damn. That's an L for me, y'all. My bad. So, all right. Now that I done F that up, we good now. All right. So, first things first, we have Seth Rollins. He came out and cut a promo after his win on Cody. He shows his love for Paul. He gave him a little kiss on the forehead, and then he told Braun, "Give me a little." And he did. A lot of improvising here. And Paul Heyman, he showed love to Paul. Paul Heyman declared him the new tribal chief, Bronson Reed, after his win over Roman, making note that, you know, he's been catching up on his promo due to missing an alarm. In the meantime, you can see what's going on below. But we had him basically cutting the promo. And after that, back at ringside, we have Penta makes his way out for his match. Penta versus Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom does get the win here. So we had Dom goes for a 619, but Penta dodges it, landing a kick, a diamond cross body, a Penta driver, and a cover. But Dirty Dom kicks out, saves the match for himself. He looks for a Mexican destroyer, but Dom catches him by surprise. That was a near fall. He goes up top and leaps, hits a thrust kick to Penta, who gets a 2 count. Dom rolls to the outside as Rusev comes down the ramp, only to take a dive by Penta. Dominique starts to grab the titles along with the ring bell hammer, distracting the ref. With the title, he hits the hammer to head, assist 619, and call it a day. And Dirty Dom gets the win. So they are doing stuff. Let me fix this. Hold on. They are doing stuff with Penta. Rusev looks like he's coming for that title. Looks like it's going straight to Rusev Day. First class, which is okay. I ain't mad at it. But this is not what the. This is annoying. This is not. What the hell? Why is this? This is crazy. is showing everything but what the hell I'm asking for. This is nuts. So Dominic gets the win. Backstage, LA Knight is interviewed. He says Punk isn't his partner tonight, and that he might get himself punched in the mouth or pinned. But if you ask him, this match isn't for the number one contendership; it's for the title. And when he's gonna pin Seth 3-0. So Punk rolls up and says last week was cute. Knight stole one, and that's not happening again. LA Knight says he has to accept his ishness of what is, because he's gonna do what he has to do to win. Kairi Sane comes in talking to Asuka. They're back and forth. Asuka basically smacks her up and says this ain't over. Rhea Ripley comes out, flanked by Asuka. Kairi Sane then begins to fight Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley gets the win with the Riptide. Excuse me. Asuka tried to run interference, but Io pulled her off the ropes, laid her out with the kick, and then Sane got beat up and hit with the Riptide. So Asuka hooks Rhea and spikes her with the DDT onto the announce desk. The Kabuki Warriors stand tall after the match, and Rhea Ripley's fallen body falls back down. So she did get hit with a kendo stick too. So this is obviously not over, and it's obviously going to continue, and that's okay. So we had the Usos backstage, and they were talking, and Jimmy basically said he's going to do what he needs to do by himself because Jay's acting crazy. So he's like, he going to do what he going to do for the family, and he fights Big Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed beats him up and basically wins with a tsunami. So after the match, Braun Breaker joins him on the ramp, charges to the ring, lays Jim out with a spear. Bronson returns shortly after he holds up the Uso for another spear. Reed tears off Jimmy's ribs, the tape ribs that he has. He calls for Braun Breaker to go all the way around, but he gets cut off midway. Jay also, you hear me?
You stupid.
Jay comes down, and they end up fighting, and they ended up retreating, and Jay saves his brother. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley fight Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Bayley and Valkyria get the win with the rose plant from Bayley onto Perez. So that happened. Backstage, Paul Heyman serenades Seth Rollins with a few bars from his song. Seth says he loves him and that these last 6 months have been all smiles, but there's nothing compared to the next 6, 12, 18, and then the future special, and there's something big on the horizon, and he doesn't know when or how. Braun roll up, and Rollins says he loves them, their faces, their energy, and at the end of the day, this has been the most incredible weekend of his professional life. From the bottom of his heart, the birth of his child, marrying his wife, and seeing how much these two men have grown in the last 6 months are his proudest moments. So I kind of was watching this and was like, because I kind of stayed away from the spoilers, and I was watching this like, oh man. First of all, I heard coming out of the pay-per-view that Seth Rollins was hurt. So because I heard that, I was like, damn, I hope it's not too bad. I hope it's not too crazy. But here we go. So Adam Pearce is backstage with Eddie, and he tells him if he happens to walk past medical, if he can get an update. AJ Styles rolls up and wishes that he won Saturday, but Cena's legendary night continued and he won. Dominic Mysterio rolls up complaining about his match against Rusev, and AJ says, listen man, he's gonna kick your ass. Styles says Finn Balor and JD McDonough should defend their tag titles against him and Dragon Lee, and Adam makes it for next week as Dom asks if he wants to let them know, or Mysterio storms off saying that he'll let them know. Stephanie Von Kerr came out and she cut a promo, which was great, and yeah, that happened. So she squared up with the Judgment Day chicks, so we'll see what happened there. We'll see what's going to happen moving forward. CM Punk versus main event, Jey Uso versus LA Knight. Yeah, CM Punk wins with the go to sleep on Jey, becoming the #1 contender for the heavyweight the World Heavyweight title. And post-match, the Vision comes down. Braun and Braun take care of Knight and everybody else. Reed drags CM Punk into position, and 747 splash there. CM Punk gets beat down, kicked out of the ring, and Seth Rollins is standing tall, holding the championship, and long behold,
Nope. You stupid.
he gets speared out of his boots. And Braun, the tsunami splash onto Seth Rollins after Braun says, you have to pick your side. He says, make your choice. You with me or you with him on the floor? The other Braun said, you know what? Tsunami. And he made his choice. Paul Heyman then goes, I guess I'm rocking with the winners. Holds up both their arms, and that's all she wrote. So, from first glance, what I heard that Seth Rollins was hurt. He got hurt on that coast to coast with the shoulder. He did not take off his coat, so his shoulder was probably heavily taped, and he probably wasn't too bad to take a bump or two, but he is too bad to continue to fight. So they're probably going to fast track getting the title off of him. Who knows if they put it on Braun Breaker, if they put it on CM Punk, if they put it on LA Knight, if they put it on Jay. Who knows who or what they put it on, but they're probably fast tracking, or not probably, they fast tracked Braun Breaker breaking up with the Vision, and the Vision basically imploding because Seth Rollins got hurt. So whatever plans they had, these are the plans now. So that's okay. I ain't mad at it. If he's hurt, let's see what we do. But I am beginning to like Monday Night Raw more and more. So Monday Night Raw and SmackDown were good this week. Big swerve at the end of the show. So let's see what happens moving forward, because I'm looking forward to see where this story goes. I mean, they fast-tracked it, so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Now, let's move right along to AEW.
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
So, we had Jack Perry talking to Kenny Omega, setting up things for a trios match. And then they had the famous last words before Wrestle Dream. AEW World Champion Chris Statlander and Timeless Tony Storm. Tony Storm talked about, if this is the end of my story, I can't do Tony Storm. I would try, but I can't do it. Tony Storm basically said, listen, if this is it for me, great, but I'm going to bring my A game. Chris Statlander said, everybody will know the truth, and she just needs to accept it. And then you know what? They said, you know what? I'll meet you in the ring. They both leave. They walk down the ramp. They go, and they start fighting. And I was like, this is great. And they start fighting. We got a German suplex. We got a transition to a Storm Zero counter. Shout out to Inevitably Dope. Then we got a pair here. We got a pair there. They're beating each other up. And then one says, hit me with the title. Chris doesn't want to do it. They start fighting. Then Chris lands, and Chris says, hit me with the title. Tony Storm's about to do it. She says, I don't want to do it. I think she kissed her on the forehead, and she walked out, and that was it. Great. I love it. These ladies are going to have a kick-ass match. Next, we have Jack Perry. He's out there, and he explains himself. He says, listen, I love the Young Bucks, but when I needed them, they weren't there. And you know what? I just had to go back to rocking with somebody who actually was there for me when I needed them. And then Luchasaurus is in the back going, ah, ah. Okay, cool. Whatever you say, buddy. So that is why he went back and rocked with Luchasaurus. He said, when I needed you the most, you weren't there. Great. Cool explanation for me. Gates of Agony versus the Hurt Syndicate. We hurt people. We hurt people. This was a good match, but the end came where the referee was distracted. Ricochet runs in the ring, hits the, what is his finishing move called? What's it called? The Spirit Gun. He hits the Spirit Gun onto Shelton Benjamin, who gets pinned 1, 2, 3, and the Gates of Agony win. And I ain't mad at it. Ricochet did get his head knocked off after, but The damage was already done. Gates of Agony win by pinfall. Then we had Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. They had a scrap up at New York City Comic Con. I did not go, so hit the buttons on me. I will be there next year. I promise. But maybe I'll go to the one in San Diego. Maybe I'll make a vacation out of it. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, they both go into this like room where there's a plexiglass blocking them off. And basically he said, Darby said, I went to the top of Mount Everest and I saw freedom when I held that AEW flag. It represented freedom, and you're trying to destroy all of that. And Moxley says, you don't understand. You're not going to quit. And we know I ain't going to quit. So I'm going to have to break you. So he says, but I know what you're dealing with. You're a crazy bastard because you're dealing with the ghost. Your opponent is not me. It's the ghost in your head. It's the demons you're dealing with. He's like, and I've had to deal with those demons. I've had to deal with a lot of demons in my head. And that's what you're fighting, because you ain't fighting me. And here comes Pac, who looks even more scarier with less hair and clothes than he does without it. And he beats him up, and then they leave and go to commercial break. Then we get Claudio Castagnoli and Roderick Strong, the Messiah of the Backbreaker. They have a actually very good match, and Claudio wins with the push-up uppercut. Tiger uppercut.
Tiger uppercut.
And Claudio gets the win. Two very, very strong individuals right there. Two very good pro wrestlers. Then they make a look at New Japan Pro Wrestling as Don Callis and the family celebrating on his birthday. They're sitting at a table with Don Callis at the head of the table, and they go and show how Takeshita promised to go win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, which he won. Shout out to Takeshita.
Finish him.
And then he says, Don, you have meant a lot to me. I am happy to be with you. And Okada cuts off the TV and said, oh, press the wrong button. I swear, when those guys get into a one-on-one fight, it's going to be magic.
Give me a hell yeah.
Take my money. So after that, they're sitting there, they toast, they drink champagne. He cuts off the title, and we find out that he did go and beat Zack Sabre Jr., making good on the promise to the family. So back at ringside, we had Don Callis, who introduced the family for our next match. Mark Davis, Josh Alexander, Hickey Cero in a trios match versus Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express. And that was the next match. We had a nice long match here, but the end came where Davis was looking for a lariat on Omega, but Perry takes the bullet for him. Omega blocks the powerbomb, but takes a stuffed power driver by Davis instead. Meanwhile, narrowly kicking out at 2, Luchasaurus 1 runs in for the assist. Higashiro tags in, but is taken out by Perry, who tags in, and a Doomsday device gets the win. Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express win. But the win is cut short by the Young Bucks, who go after Jurassic Express. They confront Kenny. This is cut off and they go to hit Kenny, but it's cut off by Jurassic Express. I think it was a double choke slam before a escalera leads to a dive by Perry onto the Don Callis family. Jurassic Express celebrates up the ramp as we go to commercial. Then we had Sky Blue versus Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter gets the win there. Nothing wrong with that. Julia brings Sky out of the route to regroup as Hayter celebrates her win, but Thekla appears on the screen, basically talking jump, and we are going to see these two ladies go at it sooner or later. We then head inside for what feels like the main event portion of the Dynamite, where Hangman comes in for commentary, and then we have a World Trios match between the Ops and LFI. Los Facción Ingobernable. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but shout out to Roosh, who's a tough bastard, because he had his elbow dislocated and he popped that fucker back in. So that guy is a savage.
Oh my God. Give me a hell yeah.
That guy is a goddamn savage. That Roosh. Shout out to Roosh, man. Shout out to Roosh. So, this was a very good match, but in the end, what the hell? But in the end, the Ops get the win and are still World Trios titles. After the match, the Hangman gets in the ring. Everybody tries to mess around, but the Hangman was about to hit a buckshot lariat, but everybody got out of there, and Joe picks up the title, smashes it in his chest, and walks away. That happened. Then we had Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly versus the Death Riders. And Orange Cassidy and Daniel Garcia had a good back and forth in the beginning of this match, but ultimately Kyle captures the guillotine on Mox. As Mox approaches ringside, Garcia breaks free. Cassidy goes after Yuta on the outside. Marina Shafir distracts the ref as Pac blindsides Orange Cassidy. They have a lot of history themselves, those two, while Kyle O'Reilly is forced to break the hold when he thinks he's had it won. Claudio gets the jump on Kyle onto the apron before sending him back in the ring, and Wheeler Yuta gets the win for the Death Riders. They continue to beat down, and Mox watches as Darby takes a kick by Marina, seemingly stopping Allen in his tracks. Mox makes fun of this, and he reaches into the apron and he pulls out an AEW flag, the same flag he took with him on Mount Everest. Mox looks at him like, "You idiot.
You stupid."
Hits him with a Death Rider right on top of the flag, the AEW flag, and then he's out of there. So that happened. We had Dax and Cash out there talking their Cash shit, which is cool. And that ended up in a kerfuffle. And we had Harley Cameron and Megan Bayne, being that they were already all out there. And Jet Speed came out to Jet Speed, Willow, and Harley Cameron. They all came out. Everybody started fighting. So after Jet Speed get the better of the heels, they say this match starts right now. And Megan Bayne and Harley Cameron have it out. But unfortunately for Harley Cameron, who I like, Megan Bayne gets the win. I think she beat her with a running powerbomb, if I'm not mistaken. So Max Caster, Eddie Kingston, and Hook, they say they're coming for Sammy Guevara in the tag team division. Max Caster and Anthony Bowens are getting back together, but they still not cool, so that's happening. And at the end of the day, we had Mark Briscoe in the World Tag Team Championship people, Brodito versus the Don Callis family, and Mark Briscoe and Brodito get the win. And Briscoe and Fletcher fight to the back as their tag team champions celebrate until El Corne makes an entrance to distract the duo, giving Okada the opening to hit the Rainmaker onto Brodito. Okada stands tall with Don Callis, and the pair leave the ring. And that is the 3-hour special as a whole. So, AEW, I actually liked the AEW this week. We had a lot going on, a lot of stories progressing, and I rocked with AEW this week. I'm interested to see what happens with Joe and Hangman. Probably going to be a tough win for the Hangman. I like what they're doing with Orange Cassidy. I'm glad to see him back. I like what they're doing with Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Luchasaurus, telling that story with him and the Young Bucks and him and Kenny. So I'm digging that. I can't wait to see Takeshita and Okada. They continue their interior beef. So, and Jet Speed and FTR, they're growing on me. I love Willow. I think Willow is great. I like Megan Bayne. I just think they gave her too much too soon because there's only one way to go. I think Megan Bayne is great. She's big as hell. She looks like a freaking Valkyrie in there. But it's good to hear her talk. But now we need to know more about her, because I do think they could build her up to be a monster, kick your ass type heel. Especially she's bigger than all the women. She's taller. She's probably stronger. So I want to see them build up to something like that. But let's see what happens. I want to see Willow get the title eventually. And Darby and Mox is going to be crazy. Because why? It's Darby and Mox. So I'm looking forward to stuff on AEW. I'm looking forward to see what they got going on. And yeah, we'll see what happens. So with that being said, that's all I got for y'all today. I know normally you get one video, 3 videos with all 3 with some news in the middle, but this week, all 3 in one. But next week, we are back to our regularly scheduled programming. So with that being said, I am out. Everybody be safe. I'll holla at y'all. I'm going to get some of that good-ass cabbage because, man, oh, man, it was amazing. So with that being said, I'm out. Everybody be safe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.